So the one thing you can always count on when it comes to MAGA is they're always going to have glaring hypocrisy. No matter which issue they're talking about, they're going to be hypocrites about it. You got to remember, Donald Trump started this whole mess back in 2016, running on the idea of building a wall. And I remember when I first heard that as a kid who grew up in the 80s and who heard Ronald Reagan say, "Mr. President, tear down that wall," that made no sense to me, because I can remember conversations with my uncles growing up about walls and how that, hey, you know what, if they build walls to keep people out, those same walls could be used to keep people in. So the whole build the wall thing always fell flat with me. And over the years, Donald Trump just continued to double and triple down on his rhetoric directed towards immigrants. And he would always say they're not sending their best and they're not sending their brightest and they're sending people from prisons and mental institutions. And it was all about fear and propaganda and getting everyone scared of immigrants, when people need to stop and realize these people are doing all the jobs that none of us wants to do, if we're just being realistic about it. Especially when I think about where I'm from and I think about the jobs that are around and the fact that we can't get anyone to do them, but we can find immigrants that will do them, and they will do them for cheaper labor. They will do them for cheaper wages. And if they were all to be sent home, it would absolutely cripple our economies. But Trump will always find a way to demonize those people who are just coming here to make a better way for themselves. He'll always find a way to demonize those immigrants. But when it comes to the immigrant that he's married to, or when it comes to the billionaire immigrant who he took his money and now he's letting him slash everything he wants to slash, he's perfectly okay with rich immigrants manipulating the system however they see fit. And the question becomes, would he deport his own wife if he played by his own rules? So we're going to read this article here from the Washington Post. We'll bring this one up here for you. Melania Trump worked in the U.S. without a permit. So here we go. Melania Trump, the wife of Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump and immigrant from Slovenia, was paid for 10 modeling jobs in 1996 before she received legal authorization to work in the United States. The AP cited detailed ledgers from Melania Trump's modeling agency, as well as a contract she signed with the firm, concluding she was paid more than $20,000 for the work over a period of 7 weeks. The finding contradicts repeated statements from both Melania and Donald Trump, who have insisted that she followed U.S. immigration law when she came to the United States as a striving model. It also creates a potential political embarrassment for the Republican nominee, who has based much of his campaign on a vow to crack down on illegal immigration, including deporting the people who have violated the terms of their immigration status. So obviously this article was written before Trump took office again, but the Trump campaign has said Melania Trump came to the United States in 1996 and then met and began dating Donald Trump in 1998. She received a green card that allows permanent residency in 2001. The campaign has said, and then became a U.S. citizen in 2006, the year after she and Trump were married. I am pleased to enclose a letter from my immigration attorney which states that with 100% certainty I correctly went through the legal process when arriving in the United States, Melania tweeted in September. The new information involves Melania Trump's activities in her first weeks after arriving in the United States. The Trump campaign has indicated that she arrived on August 27, 1996, holding a B1, B2 visitor's visa. She then received an H-1B work permit on October 18, 1996. Now, here's the thing. It is illegal to perform work for money while holding a visitor's visa. However, the AP located records showing she was paid for multiple jobs during the weeks that she held the visitor's permit, including for Fitness Magazine and Bergdorf Goodman department store. During that time, she also signed what appeared to be a standard management agreement with her agency, Metropolitan International Management, that appeared to have been executed in September 4th, 1996. Neither a Trump campaign spokesman or Michael Wiles, a lawyer who wrote the letter outlining Trump's immigration history in September, responded Saturday to requests for comment. Wiles told the Associated Press, "These documents have not been verified, do not reflect our records, including corresponding passport stamps," but did not answer additional questions. Now, Melania Trump has said in recent days reemerged on the campaign trail after a long absence following a speech she delivered at the Republican National Convention that borrowed language from Michelle Obama. So that's clearly an older article that was written before, but it brings across the point that if Donald Trump is going to sit here and tell us that immigrants are bad for the country and that we got to get them out and they have to come here legally and all the things he says, the question becomes, would he hold his wife to that same standard? The hypocrisy to me is off the charts on this one, because you have Melania, who's an immigrant. You have JD Vance, married to an immigrant. You have Elon Musk, who is an immigrant, and it's perfectly okay for anyone in Maga who is a rich immigrant to manipulate the system any way they want to. But they always find a way to demonize hardworking people who come to this country to find a better way of life, and says that we have to get all those people out. And let's just be realistic about that. You know, if he was to send them all home, who's going to build a wall? You know, I know that's a sarcastic statement, and some people may think I'm trying to make a joke, but it's true. Who would do all the work that needs to be done? I think so much about this because I could see how it would cripple my economy back home and all over this country. And I'm so tired of seeing immigrants be demonized for coming here and trying to make a better way for themselves. I used to work at a place where I got to know some of them really well and became friends. And I would sit and pick their brain and talk about, you know, where they came from and what it was like. And it was quite the experience to sit and listen to where they came from and what they were going through, and what they faced. And I think one of the most humbling moments was when I asked the question, well, how does it feel to be in a country where you could be deported or you could be detained at any given point? And the answer I got was, well, you know, your jail cells here in America are safer than the streets we come from. And these were people who were good, honest, hardworking people that just came here for a better way. And Trump has went out of his way to always demonize and vilify those type of people and lump them in with all these ridiculous conspiracy theories that he pumps out about they're sending them from mental institutions and they're sending them from prisons and all these things. And I can tell you that the ones that I've been around was not that at all. They were honest, hardworking people who were just trying to find a better way for themselves. And I thought that's what this country was all about. I thought that's who we were. And that's why that I've always had a problem with Trump's rhetoric when it comes to his rhetoric toward immigrants. I thought that we're a country of immigrants. That's the whole point. We all came here from somewhere else to make a better way for ourselves, and to then turn around and deny that right to someone else and demonize and vilify people. It's not the country I grew up in. Trump definitely flipped the script, and in my mind, he jumped the shark on this one. Because again, I grew up in an era when we were told to tear down walls. I grew up in an era when we welcomed people, and I thought that's what we were all about. I thought that's what we stood for. Donald Trump's rhetoric is dangerous. The type of rhetoric that he does when he goes out there and vilifies and demonizes them the way that he does, all that does is endanger people's lives. But he always finds a way to get around it for the rich immigrants that comes here, the ones that can help him benefit, the ones that can help get him ahead in this world. And it's just hypocrisy on another level. But you can always count on MAGA to be hypocrites. Whatever subject we're going to be talking about that day, you can always bet your ass that they're going to be hypocrites in whatever story we're covering that day. But I do want to thank y'all so much for sticking with me here on the channel, and I appreciate your support. If you haven't already and you like the kind of content that I do, be sure and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and get in on these conversations if you want to. I completely understand avoiding comment sections on certain links. There's times that I'll see a subject and I'll say, man, I don't know if I want to dive into the comment section or not. So if you don't, you can always drop in there and leave a blue heart, and that just boosts the videos and the algorithm. But I truly do appreciate all of you, and I hope you have a great week.